Week 5 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few kickers I have as sleeper options this week. The first kicker, Will Lutz of the Denver Broncos. Will Lutz, right now available 97% of fantasy leagues. And he's been a solid kicker this year for Denver. And we know they're an offense that stalls out a lot. And they don't even get a lot of red zone opportunities where those 45, 50-yarders have been definitely available for Lutz a majority of the season. So the last few weeks for Lutz, week 3 at Tampa, 16 fantasy points. And week 4 at the Jets in the rainstorm at MetLife Stadium, 5 points. So this week a good matchup versus the Vegas Raiders, where their defense is one of the worst units in the league. And they give up the 9th most fantasy points to kickers on the season. So obviously with Denver's offense failing to score a lot of touchdowns this season, and the Vegas Raiders not being a good defense, I think this could be a middle ground here where Will Lutz could get 3 or 4 opportunities hitting field goals in this ball game. And right now, I think he's a kicker that's a decent sleeper option this week. Next kicker, Cam Little of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's been a tough season, no doubt about it, for this Jacksonville Jaguar team. 0-4 on the year. Offense is out of sync. The defense has been giving up big plays all year. But Cam Little's getting opportunities, and he's been decent so far in the early going. Available 98% of fantasy leagues. Week 2 versus Cleveland, 5 fantasy points. Week 3 of Buffalo, 5. And week 4, Houston, 11. So this week with the Indianapolis Colts coming to town, division matchup, you know, a lot of teams, it's a lot of field goals in these type of games. Close, grinded out performances in division matchups all around pro football. And I think this week Cam Little could get more opportunities once again, where last week we saw a 45-yarder and a 50-plus yarder and 2 extra points. I think Little is someone who could score 8 to 10 fantasy points this week is a possibility. And the third and final kicker I have as a sleeper is Greg Joseph for the New York Giants. Joseph last week, what a monster performance it was for him versus the Dallas Cowboys, where he hit 5 field goals in that ball game, and the Giants lost 20-15 on Thursday Night Football. So this week a matchup at Seattle, the 12th man. You know it's going to be loud over there. You know Seattle, they're going to want to turn it around after they got the doors blown off last week at the Detroit Lions, 42 points given up in that game. And we know this Giant offense, they have trouble punching it into the end zone. So Greg Joseph a few years ago was a solid kicker with the Minnesota Vikings. And I think this week for the New York Giants, he could go out there, have a decent performance, and he's available 99% of fantasy leagues. So that's a few kickers I have as sleeper options for week 5 of the fantasy football season.